Kendrick infamously said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5 in stock. Have you had a chance to hear the mother 5 in stock?
What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Goods, XY, Big Z. We back in the building, man. Listen, if you have not subscribed to the channel after you watch this video, if you like the content, you like the format over here, make sure you go show some love and hit that subscribe button, man. And hit that like button for your boy. If you have not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to all my people out there. Shout out to all my creators out there creating. With that said, we gonna create. We gonna create. Okay, yeah. I guess we gonna create. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. We gonna watch one of my favorite creators, my guy Curtis King, man. Curtis King had the privilege of interviewing with Punch, president of TDE, man. One time for that. Yes, sir. Big interview, very much from a person that a lot of people have been wanting to hear from. Someone with insight on things going on at TDE. A lot of what we saw with this battle, right? We saw a lot of things where we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. Like, people don't know exactly what happened, why it happened, when it happened. And I think Punch doing this interview gives us a lot of insight on a lot of the things that we don't know. We're going to react to key points in this video. We're not going to watch the whole thing because I definitely want y'all to go to Curtis King's channel and watch that, man. So y'all watch that in its entirety in full. But we're going to talk about some key points right here, man, and let's get to it.
I got questions, man. Look, where the hell does this start? Is it the control verse that this whole Kendrick versus Drake situation? Do you know where that starts, or can you even speak on where that may start?
This is super important. Just to hear about where this all started, even though a lot of us already know that there's been subliminals being thrown between these two for years. So for a lot of people, we know where this started, or we have a good idea where this started, but let's hear what Punch had to say.
I can give you my perspective.
Okay.
And yeah, to my perspective, that's where it started.
Yeah.
You know, Dot did the whole thing and it's a competition thing.
Right.
Not a I hate you thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? We rapping. I'm trying to be better than everybody. You should be too.
Right.
So a lot of people took it personal.
Why do you think that was missed, especially when we know this is a highly competitive environment?
Dog, it was all the light-skinned niggas.
Yo. Damn. All right. Yo, that's a very simple way of putting it. I ain't mad at it. That's a very simple way of putting it. It was all the light skin. That's super simple and to the point. I ain't mad at it, dog. I ain't mad at it.
That's why I want to be traded from this team. I told y'all, trade me. My mama named me D''WAN.
Bro, no, I'm joking, but I'm kind of serious at the same time.
No, you're not. You're not joking. I'm with you. I agree.
Pusha T was mentioned, right?
Right.
Pusha T tweeted Dot and said, I hear you loud and clear, Kendrick Lamar.
What's the confusion?
Meek Mill seen Dot in the club.
Yeah.
Walked up and shook his hand. Said, I got to get you back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my guy Cole seen Dot. That ended up escalating to the fight with him and Puff.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? Then with Drake, he doing interviews like he really upset about it.
He was very upset. That Elliot Wilson was telling.
Right.
That is a very good point right there. We did see a lot of light skin activity. But the fact that Pusha T tweeted Dot, Meek Mill approached Dot and said, I gotta get you back. That is right there. That is the competitive nature of hip hop, right? And this is why people always look at shit like this and they always say, well, y'all keep saying Drake is not from this and Drake is not from that. This is why people say that, dog. It's stuff like this, right? It's the way that you react to certain situations, right? If you from somewhere, you know when something's up versus when something's not. You know the vibes. You know how it be. You know how it's a certain way you talk to people and you know what the deal is. Even when we talking about sports, there's a certain way you play. When you play, even when you playing with your homies, you know that this is competitive. You trying to bust their ass, bruh. You ain't trying to be nice and have fun all the time. Like, you trying to show people like, hey, I do this every time. Every time. I got people that I hoop with that we cool to this day. We cool to this day. But we done been on the court looking like we about to fight. But everybody know that there's a competitive nature. And when you come up in an environment where you got to be the best at everything, or you got to like assert your position in everything, this is where it comes from. And this is the part that people don't understand. This is the part that people can't get. So I feel him when he say like it was light skin. It sucks that it got to be light skin activity, but hey, they was the representatives. And this is just how it went. So yeah, great answer. Great answer.
And like that kind of threw everybody for a loop. It's like, huh? Like what we didn't take into consideration is everybody didn't come up that way. So it was second nature for us. You know what I'm saying? But everybody didn't have that same thing.
I'm noticing there's a certain nature, even for somebody that's not a street dude. I'm not a street dude, but there's a certain level of directness that I feel like living out here has given me. And I don't recognize how direct it is until I'm talking to some of my East Coast counterparts, and they like, well, why you say it like that? And I'm like, what did I say?
I always say that LA in particular is gangbang culture first.
Right.
Hip hop culture after that. You know what I mean? It's different for other spaces.
Right.
So our approach is always semi-aggressive.
Right.
Even if you're not a street dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, like what you just saying.
Right.
Like, kind of trying to see what's happening. Like, what we doing?
Yeah.
And that's just the West Coast mentality. And a lot of people just don't like that. That might make people uncomfortable or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But, you know, just difference in culture for some.
So on record, what you're saying is West Coast light skins are different, is what you just said.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll take that.
Absolutely.
A win is a win.
Y'all Curtis trying to find a W in that. Yo, Curtis trying to get traded for real. Curtis like, man, I don't want to play for this team no more, man. Shout out to Curtis.
A win is a win, Deshaun. I'm playing.
Y'all get emotional, but
look, I'm trying to walk.
Still aggressive.
See, he's not gonna let us have no win. Today we not look. We got set back years.
Y'all be emotional and shit, but y'all fight a little bit. We're still a little bit aggressive.
Beyond the high yellowness, what do you think it is that people miss? People are like these are the same artists that are competitive about record sales.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing you see some of them use when they do end up being at odds with somebody else. Why was that missed when it was such a wide net? Because he wasn't just talking about one rapper. It was the whole gang. Even the people on the damn record with him.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I don't know, man. It's just...
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. This is my news to keep it 100% real with y'all. I made a food order, and I gotta go pick it up. I know y'all looking at me like, so, yo, unprofessional ass. Listen, man, even professionals gotta eat, dog. Listen, man, I'll be right back. Don't worry, I'll be right back. We're gonna continue this. Nah, listen, if I was sitting in an interview, of course I wouldn't do this, but listen, man, I'll be back. I promise, all right? All right? Listen, man, I'm niggas is hungry, man. Y'all thought I was playing? What y'all thought I was playing? I was not playing, man. I was not playing. Come on. We're getting hungry out here. All right.
I can't explain where that comes from other people.
Right.
Or why they feel the way they felt. To me, I know it was friendly competition.
Right.
It's like we on the court. We playing basketball. I'm trying to win the game.
That part.
I mean, we can go get something to eat after, whatever it is. But while we playing, I'm elbowing you. You know what I mean? I'm shoulders is going crazy.
Right. It's like a pickup game.
Yeah, it's still love.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate you, my nigga. It's cool.
What was the energy like internally when the Kendrick versus Drake battle first kicked off? And let's talk about specifically with that verse.
It had been bubbling for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? We was pretty closed mouth about it. Didn't say much. You'll hear little subliminals. But I got to the point now where I'm like, I'm going to speak on it if somebody asks me.
Right.
Because now it's about legacy. Usually we just let things go how they go.
Right.
We know what the truth is or whatever, but now it's like, okay, I speak on certain things. So I think I was just getting ready to go out of town on tour with SZA when Dada came by the studio. So I didn't see him. I missed him. Mm-hmm. And he played the record for Top. You know what I mean? And I talked to Top. He told me a little bit about the record. Then I hit Dot. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's going down? I said, yeah, let's see what's up.
Hey, what was his demeanor?
Laughing.
Can you imagine Dot about to drop a crazy diss, and this nigga demeanor, he just laughing, bro.
Oh my God.
Diabolical, bro. Diabolical, however you look at it, man. That is crazy. This man about to drop a record that's going to shake the whole industry. And this nigga like, about to drop this shit. Insane, dog. Insane.
See, that just makes it even more crazy.
Yeah.
What you mean laugh? Just this is
People think that it's so serious and this whole thing. Like, that stuff is funny. This nigga's from Compton, California, bro.
that part,
You know what I'm saying? Like, where you grew up at, it's serious over there.
right?
You know what I'm saying? You getting shot at, you getting home invasions, you getting gang wars. Nigga, we talking about music, bro. If I hear the record, I'm like, yeah, it's up. It's go time now, baby. But it's still for fun in the spirit of competition.
Right.
All right, here you go, nigga. Ain't no big three. It's this.
Now that we know things are kicking off, what's kind of your response in seeing push-ups?
My first response was, it's not enough. It's not enough. It was cool. It was cute. I see where you're going.
Right.
But those angles not going to be enough. As simple as that. Plus, was number one on the charts.
What was that?
I like that.
Like the show, it was going crazy.
Yeah. None of the world powers that ruled the world
So you-
actually seen when they was going to face destruction.
One more time, you said none of the world powers.
Yeah, that was dominant at the time. Like, if you look at anywhere from Babylon to Medo-Persia to Egypt, whoever, it was so powerful that they didn't see a situation where they would fall.
Yo. Shout out to Punch, man. That's a bar right there, man. This is definitely what we saw with this battle, right? In the sense that Drake probably looked at this and didn't foresee him ever falling to anything or anyone. So when you look at a battle like this and you try to make sense of why Drake did the things he did, or why Drake didn't just like ignore it or just say, you know what, yeah, you got it. It's because he never saw himself falling. When you are in a position where you feel like you run the game and everything has to go through you and you are the guy, you are so big that you can't be stopped. This is the kind of ignorance that you walk into situations with. So this point right here that he's bringing up is a huge point because it makes so much sense and it summarizes everything perfectly.
So you kind of missed it.
Right.
I mean, you get into decadence and this whole thing, and before you know it, your whole camp's surrounded.
And then we get a follow-up with the tailor-made freestyle, which at that point, I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
I read it as his first mistake
How so?
because to me it felt like a mockery of the West Coast.
And I think a lot of people can agree with that. Definitely felt like a mockery of the West Coast. And if you ask me, really, that was where Drake lost. That's where he lost it. That, along with the Get the Slaves Free line, definitely lost. It just was miscalculated. And this is what you get when you're cocky and you think that everything you do, people will basically go for. Definitely agree.
Absolutely.
So when you do that, you're going to unite it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
If it was any type of division or anything at that time, once you do that, you're going to get all the people together. You're going to congregate them.
Hearing an AI version of Tupac's voice
Yeah, that was
delivered by that guy. I mean, I seen it and got cringe when I seen it because I said, there's no way in hell.
Yeah.
Mistakes are made in every battle. The added element that got me is some of the things that you see in the political sphere now entering the hip hop media sphere.
Yeah.
And now you're getting a pushback with a lot of different outlets
Yeah.
that are trying to help a moment. If I'm speaking to specifics, I remember DJ Academics was counting down days and saying, 3 days since, we haven't seen a response. In the back of my mind, Punch, I said it in a video, I said, after this tailor-made, I said, good God, you're going to get a master class coming up.
Yeah.
I saw the way y'all worked.
And that you know what? And you privy to that. Everybody else didn't see that.
I'm not going to just sit here and say that everybody knew what was coming. No, nobody really knew what was coming. But what Curtis is saying here is him being able to have the privilege of seeing the way these guys work. He already knew that some shit was coming. We probably didn't because we don't really understand. We see the work ethic from Kendrick. The real people know. They know the work ethic from Kendrick. They know how much he's worked. They know how much he's provided as far as catalog and pieces of work. They understand it. But to be in to have information where you know that this man, the way they work internally, and know that some shit like this is coming, it's crazy. I remember that time when a lot of people were nervous because they were like, he's probably just not going to respond. You know, because that still was very well a possibility that, you know, this happened, you created this, and he's just like, all right, I'm done now. You know, that could have been what happened. Like, really think about that for a second. Imagine Kendrick just never responded. Even if you believe like that would never happen. Imagine he just never responded. Where would the competitive nature be? Where would this channel even be? That set a ripple effect for a lot of things. It brought a lot of people to channels that are deserving of the look. Whether people want to sit here and say, you know, the beef helped grow your channel, so the fuck what? A lot of people grow their channels with situations. A lot of people grow their channels with events. It is the way it is. There's a lot of businesses out there who have grown exponentially because of events, even if they're like unfortunate events. There's businesses out there that have thrived because of it. So, you know, like, I always look at this like, this is great for hip hop in a lot of different ways. It's great for hip hop, even extended to people who create hip hop content. You know, it provided different insight. It provided a different look. It provided a different type of attention to a different type of sound, you know? So I hope it continues that way. Shout out to Kendrick. Shout out to Dot.
And everybody think we don't put out enough music.
Mm-hmm.
So they took that as some sort of weakness, as if nobody's working. Even if you go back to it, right?
Yeah.
Dot put out an album every year and a half.
Right.
For years, all the way up to Damn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The only delay was Big Steppers.
Big Steppers is right. Okay.
In that time, we had a full pandemic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which people don't account for.
Right.
So it's like you got to give at least 3 years to that because you don't know the state of what's happening, what's going on with the world.
Right.
So from that, the narrative became, you don't put out enough music. Like, oh, you didn't do the history.
Yeah.
You missed the whole thing.
That waiting period is so diabolical, Punch, because when things started to like, oh, he ain't coming back outside, we're done here, it got quiet.
Yeah.
And then Euphoria drops.
Yo. Y'all remember that time? Yo, I think everybody can remember what the fuck was going on when Euphoria dropped. I know everybody in here, y'all know what was going on when Euphoria dropped. Euphoria was just one of those records, bro. Like, and what Curtis is saying here is so fucking true because it's like it was quiet. It's the quiet storm, bro. It was quiet for so long. People was doubting what was going to happen. They was like, is he going to drop a record? What's going to happen? How is this going to happen? And then out of nowhere, here comes Euphoria. I think, honestly, that probably was a strategy. I think there was actually a strategy in that. Make everybody think nothing gonna happen. Make everybody think it all died down. Ain't nothing happening. And then here come Euphoria, like a bomb. Like, come on, man. We all know what we was doing. We all remember that time. That was a good time. Good time for reactors. Good time for hip-hop heads. You know? Amazing time.
I'm sure that you heard Euphoria beforehand.
What's crazy is, like I said, I had to go on tour.
Oh, you had to go on tour. That's right. Okay.
So I'm in Australia when it kick off. And I called Dot like, yo, I need to hear this record. Because we had been talking about it. I was like, I'm going to fly home. Went to the studio. He pulled up on, it was a Room Full of Mirrors session.
Yeah.
He pulled up. I played the whole Room Full of Mirrors album first.
Yeah.
Then I made everybody leave.
You made it.
Yeah.
No pushback. I know folks had to put their ear to the door or something.
It was funny. Everybody left right when the booth.
Yeah.
A huge booth. And he played me the joint. It was playing through the earphones in the booth.
Oh, so they could. Oh,
so everybody
wow.
heard it anyway.
So they had to act like they didn't hear nothing. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, wish I could hear that record.
Right.
There was rumors that there was an 18-minute version of that. Had you ever heard anything about that?
I don't know the length, but it was definitely longer. Yeah, it was definitely longer than the version that the world got.
What perspective can you share with us about the version we never heard?
It was just some things in there that I didn't think would have been beneficial in the long run to put in there. So I gave him my input on that or whatever. So he took some of those things out.
That's wild. So basically what he's saying here is that Euphoria has some elements in it that was probably maybe even more intense than what we actually heard. And he said maybe wouldn't have been beneficial for him to say. So maybe some super damaging things, or it could just be that the things that you're going to say just weren't necessary. It kind of gives it this thing where you feel like this shit could have been worse than it already was. Which is crazy to think, like, you trying to say this shit could have been worse, nigga? Like, you know what I mean? So that's interesting to hear, man. But this is why this interview is so dope. This is why this interview is so needed, because it gives you this insight that you wouldn't know unless you heard it from somebody that was inside. So again, one more time for Punch. One time for my dog Curtis King, man.
Kendrick infamously said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5 in stock. Have you had a chance to hear the mother 5 in stock?
No.
Okay, so moving along the timeline, and then what is the next one we get? We get
He has that Buried Alive.
that's the one I was talking about. I know I always missed that one because I didn't listen to that one. But I had this theory that he started just dropping shit to see what Dot was gonna do next because he wanted to see his damn self.
Buried Alive? The fuck was that? Yo, hold on. Did I miss that too? Hold on, y'all. Wait, there was a Buried Alive. Oh, gosh. Yo, that's right. There was one, bro. I forgot about this. Damn. What was this?
If you in a
Oh, yeah, this bullshit.
box, I would shove. If you was the death of me, trying to catch a vibe. I was headline, you was standing on the side. Brought you and that other hoe along for the ride. First time people lined up for your ass. Now you saying 2 pussy boys getting out of line. You been hating hard for a very long time. It feel like Twitter ghosts writing your reply. Streets out here talking like at least a nigga tried. It's how you felt in 2011 while we wasting time. Dreams come true, Crody, this is where you die.
Oh my God.
What the hell is even that? Come on, man.
Yo, I forgot all about this, bruh. Forgot about it, bruh. I'm not gonna lie. That's crazy. All right. That was a good try. So that was interesting. I forgot about that disc. So he was just dropping whatever just to drop whatever. That's crazy. It does give that like feeling that he was trying to just throw out whatever he could throw out there to see if the shit was gonna stick. That's what it seemed like to me. Like you toss it whatever you can out there to see if it's gonna stick. That's insane.
I know it's tough when you engage like that
Right.
to deal with silence, because silence become a whole different enemy.
Right. That's the Absol calling, by the way.
Yeah.
Should I go ahead and you mind?
Nah, for sure.
Hello? Hello, Absol?
Have a name for it, Curtis?
I'm assuming you tapped in right now, Solo. How you doing, sir?
And this is Absol calling in. So shout out to Absol, man. One time for Absol, man. Solo. You already know. Listen, TDE, man, they have an amazing roster, man. Say whatever you want to say about it. Talk whatever shit you want to talk about it. They have an amazing roster full of talent, bro. And, like, there's a lot of people there who have potential to do a lot of things. And they killing the game right now. No matter how you want to look at it, they killing the game right now. Shout out to them.
Hey, man, I'm just sitting here talking to Punch, man. We just having a good old conversation about... Huh? He's right here. Oh, Punch TDE. You're familiar with him.
Oh, you talking about Zordon?
Zordon.
They call that Zordon.
You good.
What up, brother? Oh, man, just sitting up here chopping it up with Curtis.
You got the linen on with you? How you
Nah, you know me, regular old white tee.
oh, you got socks on today? You got the socks on?
You know what I'm saying? You know it.
You in town? Where you at?
Yeah, man, pull up.
Man, what's happening?
Pull up on me.
All right, man, I'll tap in, man.
Come on.
My brother.
Come on.
So long. No, I was just saying how the silence, I think the silence was tough to deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not knowing what's going on.
What does that do to someone who is unprepared, you think?
I think it drives paranoia
Hell yeah.
because you don't know what's what.
Right.
You know?
Hell yeah. I think that's the element that people didn't really look at when it came to like the whole beef. I think people didn't look at the element of just silence, bro. Like Drake to me was one of the loudest in the situation. He was just loud for a very long time, just trying to like force his point across, like, and non-strategically, even though people probably feel like he was being strategic in his own way. I think he was just trying to copy and paste the Meek Mill situation. I think he was trying to copy and paste whatever he did there and thinking that it was going to apply to this. This ain't no, do this here and then do that there and it's going to work. So I think that's where he miscalculated. And then I think the silence just fucked with him because it made him show his hand. When there was silence, he probably felt like he could just keep bombarding people with these little disses here and there. And then it was going to make Kendrick look crazy. But this is the example of quality over quantity, dog. Like you come out with a record like Euphoria, and 616 and like, come on, man. This is different level disses, bro. These are different level. And 616 in LA, which Punch is gonna get into next, one of my favorite. Because that one, like, not only was it this within itself, but it was Kendrick talking to you, dog. And the words that he used in that, man, listen, these disses were so strategic. When you really, really think about the elements of these disses, you had Drake just throwing out a bunch of shit, whatever he could. And then you had somebody like Kendrick strategically breaking this down disc by disc, bro. Strategically. It's unseen.
I mean, your mind start doing all sort of things.
How did you read 616 in LA and what made it unique to you?
So again, everything is wrapped up around this Australia trip.
Right.
After I heard Euphoria, I flew back.
I gotta be here for this.
Euphoria dropped. I don't know. I think it was the next day maybe, or I don't know how long it was after that, but I heard 616 when I was getting off the plane coming from Australia.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
That's crazy.
to me, I just took it as he was telling to think about this whole thing before we go too far.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I took it as. It's like, just, think for a second.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you certain things, like really think about where you want to go.
That's crazy. Yo, listen, these are things that we probably thought ourselves, but hearing it come from Punch, like, that sounds very accurate. Like, even if you look at the lyrics for 616 in LA, like, it definitely felt that way. Telling somebody about themselves. Like, hold on. Kendrick 616 in LA. Let's go to, like, even looking at the lyrics of this, right? We talk about Drake not being calculated. Look at this. Ain't no brownie points for beating your chest, harassing ant. And we all know that situation was him, throwing his manager into the situation, right? Fucking with good people, make good people go to bat. Conspiracies about Cash Dog, that's not even the leak. Find the jewels like Cash Dog, I just need you to think. Come. Bro, even now, bro, I'm reading this shit and I'm like, damn, man. This is how you know how bad this got. Come on, man. This is how bad this guy got destroyed. Like, look at these lyrics, man. Are you finally ready to play? Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me? Fake bully, I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it. Imagine you Drake and you hearing this, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Even if you in denial, you want to show face to everybody else that you're like good. That man, that's nothing. Imagine how you feel internally hearing this shit. You gotta be thinking about what the fuck you been doing. Can't Tusi slide out of this one? It's just gonna resurface. Every dog gotta have his day. Now live in your purpose. Why? Why did you fuck with Kendrick, dog? Why'd you do it? You gotta be asking yourself why. Why? Why, man? Why would you do this to yourself? Why would you do this to yourself, man? This is insane, man. Like, bro, it was fun until you started putting money in the streets, then lost money because they came back with no receipts. I'm sorry that I live a boring life. I love peace, but war ready if the world is ready to see you bleed. To Elohim KTW, no, you can't sleep. These images trouble you. No, the wires in your circle should puzzle you. If you were street smart, then you would have caught that your entourage is only to fucking hustle you. Damn. Brother man. Oh, I almost broke my headphones, man. Brother man, why did you go ahead and do this? Why did you do this? You didn't have to do this. You could have just sat down. Make your music. We like Drake with the melodies. Come on. Why? 100 niggas that you got on salary and 20 of them want you as a casualty and one of them is actually next to you. Bro. All right, let's go back to this interview because, bro, like, come on, man. Y'all gonna read? Look, this is one verse. This is one verse off of one of the disses. So for anybody to look at shit like this and say that this man, that he didn't get surgically destroyed is insane. You're in denial. You are in denial. They broke this man down. You playing nerdy with Zach B and Twitter bots, but your reality can't hide behind Wi-Fi.
There were certain lines that have been crossed by Drake, in my opinion, and we're especially knowing from where we're from.
Yeah,
and just really just as men in general.
Yep.
When you get the family involved in some of these narratives, when you literally speak on family and business partners, and you say all of these things that you're saying, I just remember just sitting there shaking my head and saying, I just don't know if the guy understands who he's in a battle with.
Yeah. But again, I don't think when you're so successful at certain times,
right?
I don't think you see everything. I don't think you take the time to really consider what's what. Like, I can't speak for him personally.
Sure.
I can speak for me, and certain things I would look for is based on how I grew up and how I was raised. So I'm always being tuned to certain things.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't say that for everybody because everybody got a different experience. You know what I mean? But what I do know is you can be blinded by so much success at times.
Right.
It's even times when I've been in that situation and have to will it back in. Like, hold up.
Yeah.
I don't even get caught up in this whole thing.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And it leads us into Family Matters, and in one that felt a little bit more direct, and one that felt like he was, attempting to, I guess, get into more of his lyricism bag to a certain degree.
The same thought with Family Matters that I did with push-ups. And it was it's not enough.
It's not enough. What makes it not enough in your eyes?
I think another mistake that they made was giving the idea that they was finna push this red button. So I think when you did that, you built the anticipation a bit too high.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now people have expectation.
Right.
Like, I'm finna hear some stuff now. He finna push the red button. It's over now.
Right.
And when that happened, then what you call it, drop right after.
Y'all don't let the elements around you change what your strategy is. In that situation, when you hear that, do you think there's a part in Dot that says, all right, it's time to lock in? Or is there like we're doing this, let me over prepare for what that may be? Or is it just, I already know what I am and I'm confident what's about to happen?
The latter part, you already know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, people were saying that Dot wasn't battle tested.
Where did that narrative even, and it came from people who don't battle rap.
They just didn't know. When I saying that, I'm listening like, hey, all right. Dot was fully prepared. You know what I mean? With no songs written, he was fully prepared.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got the anticipation that his red button, that thing drop. It's like, okay. Oh, you got dirty. You went far. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go further.
And further he went, because damn it, after that song, they couldn't even have enough time. There wasn't enough time for them to put a piece in the oven.
Yeah, for sure.
There wasn't enough time to even put a piece in the oven. You couldn't even watch your favorite sitcom because damn near less than 30 minutes later.
Yo, that was a crazy time. That was a crazy time. I still think about that time, and I still can't believe what the fuck happened. Like, that was an insane time. Like, I don't think y'all understand it, especially being a content creator, right? And covering what was going on. I don't think y'all understand watching Family Matters drop and trying to process that, and hearing him saying these things that we're taking it out of bounds, going far, and then 30 minutes later having another moment where you gotta be like, Kendrick just stopped? Like, what? I feel like the only way to do it this way, you have to be strategic. You gotta have a strategy. You gotta be masterful in this situation. And for me, I don't know what's more diabolical, the fact that he did it or the fact that it looks like he was having a great time when he did it. You know what I mean? And it came flawlessly. I don't know which one, but insane.
I still don't feel like throughout those songs, and maybe you read it differently, I didn't hear an angry Kendrick in that. I heard one that was like, I'm warning you, I'm telling you, okay, let's have a discussion beyond this show. let's talk about the person behind. Because now you involving my manager. Now you involving family. Now you doing all of this stuff. Okay, well, let's really talk about you and meet the grams of something where it was like, and some Alchemist beat.
Again, you mentioned that anger, right?
Yeah.
This goes back to an earlier point that uncles get killed. You had friends get killed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got jumped. We're talking about records, bro.
Yeah.
So there's no anger there.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Battle tested, that's battle tested.
It's battle tested. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It plays a part in your whole mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes into what you do from here on out.
Right.
So you talking about clashing words.
Playing devil's advocate for those who say, well, this the elevated stage that this is being done on does put your legacy out there looking a certain way if it doesn't go. Because we've seen this flip for other people. Like, you know, I hate to use examples, but, you know, the way that it turned for Ja Rule,
Yeah.
the way that this could very much be a make or break moment, at least, you know, that does create a new element of emotion, I imagine. No, not at all. Unfazed. Okay.
I mean, you got to think about it. Like, before that whole battle situation, Dot highest moment commercially was Damn. Like, Humble was a diamond single.
Right.
I think it's almost double diamond. So he experienced all the success you can experience in hip hop
Right.
at that level, at that point.
Right.
So this battle was just extra.
Not like us.
Yeah.
First of all, why do you think people didn't think he was capable of being the one to get a record off like that? Because I heard that narrative a lot where they were like, man, just wait till Drake drops the hit record, and when that happens, it's a wrap for you guys. I'm like, you act like this dude ain't the songwriter that you just described in the beginning of this conversation.
Yeah. You know what? Well, somebody made the point, I think it was maybe Ebro or somebody, when he said that Drake fans aren't necessarily hip hop fans. And that plays a huge part in it. So a lot of the talking points and ideas is not based on hip hop, but it's based on love for Drake. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
That's crazy.
if we love hip hop and we have a certain kinship within that,
Right.
we're gonna be able to admit where our favorite was wrong at some point.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? The other guy that ain't our favorite
Right.
was better, or whatever that might be.
He didn't have it that day.
Right. That don't happen with a lot of Drake fans because they love him to death.
Yeah, he can't do no wrong.
And that's just it.
Yo, shout out to Drake, man. So many gems, so much shit being dropped in this, man. Like, what he's saying is what we've been trying to explain this whole time on this channel. We've been trying to explain this for a long time. It's that, you know, y'all love him to death to where he can do no wrong. So it's not really a love of hip hop. It's not really a love of like what's going on. It's a love for the individual, which is cool. If that's where you at, that's where you at with it. But that is definitely one of the biggest differences here. Definitely. I 100% agree.
That's it, which I feel that. Cool.
Right.
Great. I think that's where that narrative came from, and it's based on back to back. You know what I'm saying?
The song or the
song.
The song itself. Okay.
Drake's song, back to back.
Right.
That's when he got Meek with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And people was waiting on history to repeat itself with that joint.
Last conversation I had when I went to go visit even the homie Daylight, the casual conversations we have are not normal conversations. And I can only imagine what it's like in the family dynamic at TDE. I saw some of these. Y'all are brilliant minds.
Appreciate that, brother.
I don't look at anything of this as accidental. So when I see some of these things, yes, sometimes when it's your time, certain things will connect.
Yeah.
But how much of that do you think was calculated on the part of Kendrick?
It's super calculated.
Right.
Yeah, you calculate a lot of things. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and cap and say that everything was,
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Because some people just reach and they figure, I'm looking stuff. I'm like, come on now.
Right. But the majority of the things are calculated or taken into consideration.
Listen, man, shout out to Curtis King, man. Listen, if you have not subscribed to Curtis King, I don't know what you're waiting for. Shout out to Curtis King. Subscribe over there. Check out all the content over there. This is great content. Definitely great content. Obviously, you know it's going to be a dope interview. It's an interview with Punch of TDE. Come on, man. Come on. One time for Curtis, man. One time for Curtis, man. Dope interview. Love to see it. Love to hear the insight. Love to hear these gems. And I think you could take a lot from that interview, from the things that he said. And it's very eye-opening on, just the inner workings of TDE and just to understand the work ethic. I do respect and commend the fact that he feels like at this point he's going to talk about certain things, because he's right when he says that at this point it's about legacy. It's not about yeah, we know what it is. It's about legacy. And I think the legacy has to be protected, because in this space there's a lot of narratives that go around. There's a lot of misinformation, and it's just something that you have to combat slowly, day by day, by just providing the truth, and that's the only way that you go against it. But again, shout out to Curtis King for getting this interview. Curtis King has been on a legendary run, man, so shout out to him. Definitely enjoying this content. Shout out to everybody out there that enjoys that content as well. Y'all already know what it is. Listen, let me know how you feel about this interview. What did you take from this interview that you thought was dope? How do you feel after watching this interview about the battle, about everything that went on, about the diss tracks, the responses, everything in between? Let me know in the comment section, man. You already know what it is. And look, if you like the hat I got on, it is Dad Gang, one of my favorite brands right now. You can get 15% off if you click that link in my description, man. Dope merch out there, man. Listen, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Goods, BigZoeTV. Let's go.